Lakers furious. They thought he was fouled. LeBron James so upset. Regulation is over. We go to the 5-minute OT.
And I watch basketball every single day. I watch these games every single day. And I don't see it happening to nobody else. It's just weird.
It's been a very rough 2 weeks for the Los Angeles Lakers, and the way some of their games ended is leading many Los Angeles Lakers fans to believe that their games have been fixed or rigged. So I went back and did some research on the last 2 weeks of the Los Angeles Lakers schedule and decided to compile a bunch of clips for you to decide whether or not the NBA is actually actively fixing the Lakers games. So before we get to the content, make sure you drop like, subscribe, and turn on our notifications to help the channel grow. This video took some time to do. And now that we get all that out of the way, cue the intro. Usually when this happens, we all make bank. PrizePicks is hooking us up for the Super Bowl with a free square from Patrick Mahomes, which means Mahomes just needs 1 passing yard in order for his square to convert. So all you have to do if you want to join is go to the link in the description down below, download PrizePicks, and use my promo code microphone so they can match up to $100 of your deposit. And once you're done with that, make these picks. Obviously, you should go with the Patrick Mahomes 0.5 passing yards and click more. Once you're done with that, one of my sleepers is going to be Kenneth Gainwell, who has been a monster throughout the playoffs for the Philadelphia Eagles, and he just needs to get higher than 21.5 rush yards. So we're going to click more there, and if Kenneth Gainwell gets more than 21.5 rush yards, you could 3x your money. Now, if you feel really good about this, you could also add Travis Kelce scoring 1 touchdown, and if both of these hit, you 5x your money. I play PrizePicks each and every day, and I post my picks to my story on Instagram. So make sure you're following me there if you want to see my picks on a daily basis. And thank you, PrizePicks, for the sponsor. Mic check 1 2 1 2. What's going on, everybody? This season has been a mixed bag for the Los Angeles Lakers, and coming into this season as a Laker fan, I told you guys myself, I thought we didn't have a single chance at competing in the Western Conference. It's nothing against the Lakers, it's just on paper, it seemed like multiple teams were several orders of magnitude better than them. I mean, you look at the Golden State Warriors, the defending champions. For the most part, their roster makeup was more or less the same, except for some key role players that got the bag that didn't want to return to the Warriors. Little did we know that that would slow them down considerably. I mean, I'm sure Draymond Green punching the living crap out of Jordan Poole had something to do with that as well. The Phoenix Suns were supposed to be a contender as well, but it seems like they're imploding from within. The Los Angeles Clippers were supposed to challenge the Golden State Warriors for Western Conference supremacy, and so far, they haven't necessarily been able to do that, but they are currently climbing the rankings. The point of this being, as a result of how this season has gone so far, the Lakers shifted gears. They went from a team that was essentially waiting for Russell Westbrook's contract to expire to a team that is trying to come up with quick fixes to their roster without sacrificing their future in order to potentially make a push for Western Conference dominance. I can't really blame them. I don't think any of us predicted the Sacramento Kings being in 3rd place in the Western Conference at this time of year. And honestly, good on the Kings, man. Their fans, if there are any fans left, have gone through hell over the past 2 decades. I mean, even before the past 2 decades, because if we're talking about rigging games, there's no fan base that is more familiar with that concept than the Sacramento Kings. So we have a lot to get to here, man, including the fact that the referee for the Los Angeles Lakers versus Boston Celtics game was reportedly a Celtic fan, and we even have definitive proof for it. But in order to get to that, we need to go all the way back to where this started, when the Los Angeles Lakers faced off against the Dallas Mavericks on January 12th, 2023. This game was a thrilling game, by the way. It went all the way to double overtime. And did it give you a Tim Donaghy-like vibe? Well, let's see it for ourselves. In regulation, this game was absolutely remarkable, by the way. Luka Doncic had to hit a step-back 3 in order to send it to overtime versus the Los Angeles Lakers, which is a remarkable way to send it. But here's where it gets a little shady here. The Lakers did have an opportunity to win this game. And take a look at this final possession. LeBron James finds Troy Brown Jr. for the 3-pointer 3-pointer, and you can make the argument that Troy Brown actually got fouled over here, but unfortunately it was a no call. Now I want you guys to bear in mind, the NBA is a very difficult sport to officiate, so it could very well be that this was just a no call that the referee missed. But the fact that this has been happening so many times and has affected the Los Angeles Lakers record to this extent, definitely a little surprising, because the next incident would come 3 days later. I was actually at this game watching it live. It was when the Los Angeles Lakers faced off against the Philadelphia 76ers, and they were getting a lot of momentum towards a comeback. Towards the end of the game, Russell Westbrook decided to push the ball up court as much as he could and then faced off against Joel Embiid. One would assume this is a mismatch. He would take the ball to the rack, and you could make the argument that once again, Russell Westbrook was fouled here.
Ball is underneath, and the Lakers are gonna lose it.
But unfortunately, nothing was called. This brings us to our third incident before we get to the main incident that went absolutely viral recently. That's when the Los Angeles Lakers faced off against the Sacramento Kings. In a game where the Lakers were down by 4 with 12 seconds left, there was a remarkable opportunity to potentially tie the game in a very awesome way. As a matter of fact, if I was in the entertainment business, I would actually try to rig an overtime here. I guess that could be a counterpoint to my argument, but check out the sequence that would play.
They did to LeBron. LeBron going to kick it over to Nunn. He leans in, got it!
With 12 seconds left, LeBron James would find Kendrick Nunn for a 3-pointer. Kendrick Nunn would miraculously make this shot. You can make the argument that he was fouled here, but unfortunately the referees didn't call it. In this instance, I guess you could say if the NBA was really starting to rig games, then you would assume they would push for overtime over, just rigging it for a small market in California to win. So I guess that could be a counter argument, but I'm just giving you incidents leading up to the most famous game out of all of them, and that's the Los Angeles Lakers facing off against the Boston Celtics. This game was littered with no calls and was trending in one particular direction. The calls were so bad that Jason Tatum seemed nervous as he was saying good game to LeBron James on his Instagram story. And of course, you had moments like this where Patrick Beverley was walking up to the referee and showing him a camera to try to indicate that there was a foul that wasn't called, and the referee reacted by giving him a technical foul. The referee that is giving him a technical foul at this point is very important to our story, because there is proof that this referee's whole family is filled with Celtic fans. As a matter of fact, following this game that the Los Angeles Lakers faced off against the Boston Celtics, this tweet leaked out of this referee's wife saying, "Help me wish a very happy birthday to my husband today." You can catch him tonight on NBA Game 2, Golden State versus Dallas. This is confirmed to be this referee's wife. And his wife, for some reason, would decide to also tweet this picture saying, "Current mood, let's go Boston." Which, man, that is,
That is not an intelligent thing to tweet if your husband's a referee in the NBA.
I can understand an NBA referee's family being a fan of a particular team. You probably shouldn't share that information with the world. As a matter of fact, following this being found out, his wife deleted her Twitter. And apparently, Boston Celtics only lost 2 games with this referee reffing their games. Which, by the way, we did do some digging into this claim, and it's completely false. I think Lake Shoyo, who's, by the way, he's hysterical. If you're a Laker fan, I highly recommend you follow him. Was just exaggerating at the time, and some people took the tweet seriously, because the Boston Celtics record when Eric Lewis officiates their games is 49 wins and 28 losses for the Celtics. Now, was this game actually rigged? Well, there were multiple no calls throughout this game, and it was a little bit more egregious than the first 3 incidents that I showed you. Starting out with this foul that was called on Anthony Davis. Check this out.
This foul call on Anthony Davis. There is some contact, but it seems marginal contact.
It's created by Tatum. I don't think it's a foul.
No foul is going on here at all whatsoever. We can show you multiple angles of this. There is no foul on this play or on this play at all whatsoever. And yet Dennis Schroeder gets called for a foul by the same referee. Yeah, you even have Darvin Ham saying that's so bad. I mean, you can look at it over and over again, and it's clear that there is no foul being called. This was also a foul on Anthony Davis, when Anthony Davis is the one being held. And this is without us mentioning the viral LeBron James moment.
It's over. Lakers furious. They thought he was fouled. Excuse me. And it's now overtime. LeBron James so upset. Regulation is over. We go to the 5-minute OT.
But also take a look at this jump ball with Anthony Davis and Al Horford and tell me if this isn't favored towards one side or another. Check this out. The ball is clearly going towards the Boston Celtics side over here, and it's just not a really good look for this referee at this point, especially with his wife tweeting what she did. Here's another indication that the ball is clearly trending towards the Boston Celtics side as this is going on. And that's before we get to the final moments of this game. With the Lakers up by 3, Jaylen Brown would put back this basket. You make an argument that it was a foul on Jaylen Brown. Instead, it was called as a foul and one in favor of Jaylen Brown. This gave Jaylen Brown the opportunity to tie the game. And a huge shout out to Lake Show Yo, obviously a huge super fan of the Los Angeles Lakers, for digging all this up, because I wouldn't have been able to catch this on my own. He calls out the fact that this referee starts running back and then changes his mind and calls a late foul a few seconds later. Check this out. He starts running towards the other side of the court and then decides to call a foul on Jaylen Brown instead. And then, of course, there's this famous moment where Jason Tatum clearly fouls LeBron James, and LeBron James loses his freaking mind at the fact that no foul was called. Honestly, I think my favorite moment of all this is the fact that LeBron James was actually like looking for the cameras at a specific point to see if the cameras were on him, and then he continued dramatizing himself a little bit more. A really funny commentary on this is none other than Chandler Parsons' reaction to this, which is baffling.
I could watch my French bulldog get ran over by the mailman right now, and I would not react like that. I swear.
By the way,
This caused Chandler Parsons to trend, with people making jokes about his French bulldog getting run over, which
We're gonna stay away from that.
I want to make something clear. I'm not the type of guy that comes out here and says,
The reason why my Lakers stink is because the games are rigged.
rather, this was more for me to compile a bunch of data together and ask you guys, do you think these games were rigged? Personally, I'm a little skeptical when it comes to the NBA, primarily because I watched the Tim Donaghy documentary, and I don't necessarily know if I could believe him. I mean, in that documentary, he states that referees are told to influence the outcome towards particular stars in the NBA. In this case, however, it seems like the outcome isn't being influenced towards the face of the NBA for the past like 10 plus years, LeBron James. It's being influenced against him. At the same time, how honorable is a referee like Tim Donaghy? Could you really honor his word? Personally, whenever it comes to sports, I just assume that refs sometimes suck at their job. And it's really funny to me because I actually had to cover this exact same story for the championship games on microphone for the NFL. So the fact that I'm experiencing this in both of the sports that I cover is baffling to me. So let me know in the comments section down below, what do you guys think about all this? Do you think this is just the NBA rigging games, or do you think this is bad officiating? Because at the end of the day, this is the difference between the Lakers being in 4th place and the Lakers not even being a play-in team, which is they're currently in 13th place at the time that I'm recording this video. Aside from that, I'm your boy Mike, and I'm dropping our mic until our next upload.